freaking lady go off on kids because they don't freaking get this crap. If you would just get up and teach them instead of handing them a freaking packet, yo. There's kids in here who don't learn like that. They need to learn face to face. You're just getting mad because I'm pointing out the obvious and you're
wasting my time.
No, I'm not wasting your time.
The kid is trying so hard to hide the phone.
You want kids to come into your class, you want them to get excited for this, you gotta come in here, you gotta make them excited. You want a kid to change and start doing better, you gotta touch his freaking heart. Can't expect a kid to change if all you do is just tell him.
Amen. Amen.
He's right.
It's
kind of awesome.
Take this job serious. This is the future of this nation. And when you come in here, like you did last time, and make a statement about, oh, this is my paycheck, indeed it is.
Oh my God.
But this is my country's future and my education.
Preach it.
That is the last guy I would think would do this.
There's a limit. When I'm not bitching, but simply making an observation.
Oh, dude, I love this.
And now I will leave. You're welcome.
Now I will leave.
And if you would like, I'll teach you a little more so you can actually learn how to teach a freaking class.
Damn.
Because since I got here, I've done nothing but read packets. So don't try and take credibility for teaching me jack.
Just go. Bye.
Oh my God. Wow.
That was intense.
That kid's got balls. That's my life. Reading packets, taking notes. Teachers don't teach anymore.
So can you explain what went down in that video?
Well, obviously it's like some kid stood up for like what he believed in. Some white kid just walks up in the class with like long blonde hair.
Finally got fed up with having to deal with a teacher being lazy as always and stood up for himself.
So he decides to tell the teacher how she should do it.
He's basically telling his teacher to f off and is just getting up in her face. Because, I mean, that's actually not a bad idea. If you want to get out of a packet, you can just tell her how she's not doing a good job, which it looks like she's not if she's giving packets.
So this is part of Jeff's speech. I want you to read it out loud and then tell me what you think about it.
You want kids to come into your class. You want them to get excited for this.
You gotta come in here, you gotta make them excited. You want a kid to change and start doing better?
You gotta touch his freaking heart.
I wanna cry. Cause it's true. All those good teachers that you have, they really do touch your heart.
In high school, when we're preparing for college, and we're trying to figure out what we want to do when we're older, a lot of us look to our teachers. If English isn't gonna be fun for me, or if science isn't gonna be interesting to me, then I'm never gonna figure out what I wanna do, which is what a lot of people feel now, and then they end up not going to school.
What did you think about his speech?
Like, I did not expect him to be saying all of that. Cause you can tell he wasn't, I don't wanna be mean, but like wasn't the most like literate kid, but maybe that's a good thing.
In the video, you know, you can't judge based on appearance.
He doesn't look, you know, like one of those serious kids. He's got long hair, like sagging pants. All those kids probably think he's just like a loser stoner kid. But that's some real stuff that he's talking about.
I agreed with a lot of what he said, and like I feel like if a teacher is not doing what his job, I need to tell him about it. Maybe not in that particular way, like embarrassing them in the front of the class.
The best thing about his speech is that he was passionate about it. Like he believed what he was preaching and he just wanted to get that out there, which I liked.
Sometimes you really do need to tell the teacher like you're not doing anything. You're just giving me a piece of paper, you're gonna go on your phone, text someone, go on the computer, drink your coffee, but you're not actually teaching.
How did it make you feel while you were watching it?
Inspired. I was actually like really proud of him.
I'm intrigued. His words, they touch me.
I actually felt like one of the students in the classroom just wanted to laugh through the whole thing.
I was nervous. I thought like the teacher was gonna get up and like.
Made me feel like he's right, because some teachers are like that, but then I kind of felt bad for the teacher too.
I feel relieved that I'm not the only one thinking this.
I wanna go do something now. I wanna go talk to my teachers and be like, listen, you need to be a better teacher.
Do you agree about what he was saying about education in the school system?
It being a little crappy because all they do is give us packets and you kind of have to figure it out, partially.
It just depends what teacher.
I mean, it's more of public schools, definitely. Now they're just giving us packets.
A lot of public schools, they don't have enough funding for a lot of the teachers. So I mean, there's like a PE teacher who's moved to math, and I've literally had teachers where they're one lesson ahead of us in the class, which isn't good.
I think it's gotten a lot worse as the years go by. Teachers are trying to find easy ways out. Some still stand up in front of the class and will give notes, but most of the time it's a PowerPoint presentation where you're just taking notes, or they give you a packet and the textbook and they say, okay, take notes.
A lot of teachers do that. They do just end up sitting behind the desk and going on like Amazon, I've actually seen, and just kind of giving out a packet, and then you have a test on it, like at some point, you know? and they wonder why like our country's dropping in our education.
Have you ever run into a similar situation to this before in a class?
I've actually told off the teacher a few times.
It was probably me that ever like did anything like this.
I've had like a kid in my class who started like cussing at my teacher and like saying that she was like dumb and like a B word and like all this stuff. And I felt bad for my teacher too because she's really nice.
He was like an aspiring rapper, and so the teacher took his phone and she was like yelling at him for being on his phone, and he started rhyming and he like tried to start a rap battle with the teacher, and I was just like, oh my god.
And if you were in the class, what would you have done while this was going on?
I'd be like, hallelujah.
I would have laughed pretty hard.
I would have stood up and started clapping.
I would have probably just watched like, oh my god, he's really doing this right now.
Recorded it like him. Next viral video, let's go.
I would have walked out after him. See, I say that, but I probably wouldn't have because I'm a wimp and I would have been like, ooh, school. But I would have walked out after him.
So this kid's name is Jeff Bliss.
Hi, Jeff Bliss.
Do you think he was wrong for doing this to the teacher?
No.
No.
He was obviously concerned about his education, and if you care that much, you should say something.
You have a voice as a student. You have free speech. It's one of the amendments.
I'm not gonna say he was wrong, but I'm also not gonna say he was right.
Probably should have gone to like the principal or something and like told him that the teacher wasn't doing anything and like told him everything that he said basically.
But, you know, those ways aren't always efficient, and it takes like one person to like rally up a whole class, and that was a way to do it.
People can comment all they want about how this kid was mouthing off to an adult and he doesn't know respect, get out of the classroom, whatever. But you know, there's a point when you've had enough and you need to stand up for yourself regardless of who's trying to put you down.
If I was a teacher, I would probably have a totally different perspective. From a kid's point of view, we sit in class, we don't interrupt you, we listen to you, we do all our work, we turn in our work, and we're there all day long just like you. At least you could do is listen to what we have to say.
What do you wish the teacher would have done after he did this?
Quit?
I hope she talked to him.
What would be great for her to actually admit it and be like, you know, you're right, or just something. But you know, just looked like she wasn't even listening. She was busy on probably like eBay or some shit. Like, okay, whatever.
Have you ever talked back to a teacher?
No, I'm always like the teacher's pet.
No, because I've always been Mr. Goody Two-Shoes in school.
I have in here.
No. Not to their faces.
No. No, not really. I try to be a good kid.
I've been kicked out of class like so many times for talking back to a teacher. I'm pretty sure I deserved every single time I got kicked out.
I haven't really complained about a teacher because like at the end of the day, when I go to college, as long as it says an A on my transcript, I'm good.
Last year, because I was in my U.S. history class, and I walked in just like this, but the first thing she told me is I look like a bad kid. That was literally like, that's how we met. So I just got up in her face and started basically telling her off, and I was telling her that you shouldn't judge somebody just based on your appearance, just like this guy.
What punishment do you think that Jeff should get for speaking back like this during the class?
He shouldn't get a punishment, he should get rewarded.
I never got any punishment, so I don't think he should either.
Nothing. Like, what? He should be punished for what he did to get kicked out in the first place.
Maybe like just like detention or something. Like I don't think anything big because he didn't really do anything that wrong.
0, but then again, you know, I don't control the school. I'm sure he probably got something for it, you know? Because again, it sucks. That's just how it works. If you talk back to a teacher, you know, you're like indicted as if you just killed somebody. They tell us we're below them. Like they literally tell us like that we're teenagers, so whatever we say doesn't matter. Since we're young, we don't have enough experience. That means we haven't gone through any shit in our lives. No one ever looks at the real life logistics of it. They just look at turn these in tomorrow or you fail the class.
What's like frustrating me and what bothers me is like how teenagers and whatever, we can't stand up for what we believe in, either in school or whatever, because we won't be taken seriously, or the teacher has like a higher power like above us, you know, and they can just tell us to get out of their class.
What makes a good teacher in your opinion?
What makes a good teacher is a teacher who doesn't talk like a teacher, talks like a human being.
One that actually likes to teach and knows what they're doing and can actually connect and understand with their students.
They have to actually care about your like knowledge in general, like not only for that course in class, but in life.
A good teacher like challenges you, like, or wants you to challenge
everything. It makes you question things.
Someone who can be nice to the students, who has a connection with the students, who doesn't treat them like kids. When a teacher leaves a good mark on my life, I remember them forever.
And what would you say makes a bad teacher?
Somebody who just gives busy work.
No interaction to me is a bad teacher.
Takes the assignment, grades it, doesn't care what you get on it.
A teacher that doesn't really teach, whenever you try to ask for help, they're like, nope, figure it out, you're a student. No, you're a teacher, you help us.
Last year I had an English teacher who every day just passed out handouts, never even talked, and we just had like paperwork every single day. And it was just like useless.
A bad teacher is someone who just sits there and passes out packets. Like that lady. Every time we go to class, we have a new packet on our desk every day, and we have to finish it from when the period starts to when the period ends. And if you don't finish it, you have to come back and finish it again. Like that's not even learning, you're just reading and then writing it.
It doesn't prepare you for real life. They think it does, it doesn't.
Well, how do you feel about your education in your life? Has it been good?
Yeah, if I paid attention more.
Yeah, I guess. It's been pretty good.
They're doing the best that they can do. I mean, like, given the circumstances.
There's been a couple teachers throughout my career as a student who have just not been the best.
I haven't always had the best teachers, but I've always learned from my classes. They're not always responsible for it, but I've at least learned.
I can't lie, like I like my teachers. There's always here and there one or two who aren't the greatest, but compared to other schools, like what my friends have told me, I think I have pretty good teachers.
I feel like I got a good education out of it, and I'm excited for college. I'm scared because it's gonna be harder than high school, but like I realize how easy high school really is, and how fun it really is. So I'm sad that it's over, but I feel like I got a lot out of it.
So some people have raised a concern that seeing something like this of a kid getting famous off of lecturing a teacher in a video, that it will result in it happening more in classrooms. What do you think about that?
That could start. That could start something. I mean, even just watching it, it makes me want to do something. I won't because I'm too scared.
Kids do it to this day anyway. That's not gonna start, oh no, a kid got famous for talking back in class, this is gonna start trending. It's already been a trend since school started.
I'm not gonna talk back to a teacher. Like, it's just your background, and like, just because he talked back doesn't mean I'm going to.
Haven't we seen the Harlem Shake? One person does it and we have like thousands of videos. The thing is, like, I don't think most people are gonna have the balls to get up and do it.
The kids that do it just for that reason are stupid and don't know what they're talking about. You'll definitely be able to see that probably in the video. And be like, oh, well, this is a fake, I'm not gonna watch it.
If you see something and you're stupid enough to copy it without any of your own context, just copy it without knowing what's going on or why he did it, you're an idiot.
Truth. Why do you think something like this goes viral?
Because it's real, it's raw.
Because it was funny.
Because it's not something you see every day. You don't see a kid with that much guts going up in front of a class and calling out the teacher.
Because everybody relates to it. It's literally something that everybody that's in school relates to.
I'm sure they always want to see somebody badmouth a teacher. Be like, oh, he's cussing out a teacher, I should totally watch this. But you'll start watching, you'll be, hey, he's actually making a point.
The guy does not look like someone who cares about like being at school. It's effective because he doesn't seem like the smartest kid. It shows like this is what the youth is these days. Apparently we have to fix this because his teacher isn't doing him any good.
So some people have called him inspiring for doing this. What do you think about that?
It wasn't inspiring because I don't know how people find that inspiring.
He's just one kid, and if he has millions of views on like YouTube doing something like this, it could inspire like a whole movement for all we know.
Also, some of them are probably realizing how messed up the educational system has become.
Do you think teachers are the ones to blame for the problems in the education system?
No, not at all. It's them, but it's also students.
There's the teachers that just like don't care, and then there's also the students that just don't care. So it's both of us.
You can try and teach kids getting to their heart, but the likelihood of that happening is minimal.
Everyone is to blame if they're to blame. You can't generalize something like, oh, it's the teacher's fault or the principal's or the students'. It's whoever's fault it is, it's their fault.
It's that these teachers aren't getting the resources and the training they need to do well. But at the same time, if the teachers don't recognize that nothing that's going on is helping them, and they're like, oh, well, it's not my fault, it's the system's, and they don't do anything, then that's their fault.
Most teachers do not really get paid that much, and I honestly think they should be one of the highest paid professions because they're educating the future of tomorrow. If the teachers don't get paid enough, they're not gonna work enough. And that's why I can't really blame them. It's the whole system.
How do you think teachers can be motivated to be better?
Teachers are stubborn.
Well, I mean, making more than a garbage man would definitely be a self-esteem boost.
The problem is governmental, so like the government chooses not to put that much money into it. Whatever you give, that's what you're gonna get back.
I think that they should just be already motivated. Like, I think that your job as a teacher, you're designing the future for yourself.
It's so blatantly obvious that the youth is becoming more and more apathetic that I don't understand why teachers wouldn't want to be like, wow, there's something we really need to do now.
What do you want to say to other teens out there who are dealing with teachers who aren't putting their all into their education?
Don't do it like Jeff did.
Stand up for what you believe in, but do it in a respectable way.
Maybe talk to your teachers about different ways to learn or to do things.
You need to stop being lazy and actually take action.
If you really do think you're having a problem with how you're being educated, definitely contact the administrator, whoever's running the district, and if you can, maybe transfer schools, but try to get the best education you can.
Keep putting your half of it. You can't control everyone, and you can only reach your hand out so far, and if your teacher's not gonna give back, then just try and get as much as you can out of the class by yourself.
It's hard to like be in a class with a teacher that you don't like. Trust me, I know. But like try to make the best out of the situations. I mean, don't go getting expelled or suspended for doing stupid stuff.
Either you can be the adolescent, I don't want to do this guy that goes, I'm not gonna be at school, I'm gonna be a dropout, I'm gonna be famous. Or you can actually take in whatever they're actually teaching so you can actually go somewhere in life.
Keep holding on. Like, stick it out. Like, you'll get better. It's just high school.
And what do you want to say to schools and teachers on how they can better reach all of you?
Do your job.
More one-on-one communication.
For all teachers, just be more interactive in class. Don't just get up, teach a lesson, and do a packet. Make the students involved in it. Make the students involved in their own learning.
Just think of your students as if they were your kids or something. Like, you want your kids to grow up and have a good education, right?
I would say just be excited when they come into your class and talk to them and try and communicate with everyone, because those are always the teachers that I love, the ones that like talk and are excited and love what they're doing every day.
Respect goes two ways, because I've also seen like teachers that treat us like humans and no one ever talks in the class. But then they wonder why the teachers who always bitch at us and all that crap, we end up like going out of our way just to piss them off. But they don't seem to get it. I don't know why. You think it's common sense, but guess not.
You should stop thinking for yourself and think for others, which are your students. Because yeah, you might be set in life, but we aren't, because we're kind of screwed over right now. And the only way that can be better is if you help us.
And so if you saw Jeff Bliss like on the street in person, what would you do?
Say, you go, Glen Coco.
Like, you rock, you should join youth in government.
I'd give him a hug.
I would shake his hand, be like, you are a brave young man.
I'd probably just walk up and just be like, I need to shake your hand. You, sir, are an icon for students everywhere.
I don't know, maybe I was probably just gonna like a pat on the back and be like, good job. Like, yeah, she said what I guarantee you everybody else in that class is thinking, but didn't say, and get a haircut.
I'd give him a high five. I'd braid his hair. I don't know.